Hello everybody, this is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports, coming to you tonight, 2 days after Game 7 of the NBA Finals, where the Miami Heat defeated the San Antonio Spurs to win their second straight championship. And all I got to say is, so what? Okay, everybody's been ranting and raving about how great LeBron James is becoming because now he's won 2 championships in a row. There's been plenty of people that have won 2 championships in their basketball career. That doesn't make them the greatest of all time or anything of that nature. But my big deal is number one, there's more than just one player on a team. You know, LeBron James didn't win the NBA championship single-handedly. Number 2, I am so sick and tired of hearing all of these comparisons about LeBron James to Michael Jordan or even Kobe Bryant for that matter. First off, I'm going to make this very, very clear because people like to say, oh, well, you know, LeBron is doing such and such, and, you know, he's doing this thing or that thing. Okay, number 1, Michael Jordan played in a hell of a lot tougher of an era with a hell of a lot tougher competition and guys that wanted to beat the crap out of him every night just to prove that they were better than him. Today's NBA basketball star, number 1, they're drama queens, they're crybabies, they're sissies, and every time they get bumped they cry, oh well, he bumped me, that's a foul. I mean, you know what, guys, I remember back in the early 90s when the Pistons and Celtics would beat the crap out of each other, or the Pistons would take on the Bulls, or the Celtics and Lakers would have classic heated rivalries. It was a man's game back then, okay? Men played the game. Now you just got little boys out of high school that are just in it for the money and cry and whine when they don't get their own way. And I will say this, and a lot of people always rag on me for this argument. Michael Jordan did not have to go to another team to win championships. He took what he had and he made the best of it. Yeah, sure, he had Scottie Pippen. Sure, he had a lot of good players, you know, surrounding him. But let me ask you this. Who has LeBron James made better? Answer this. Nobody. Look at Michael Jordan. Do you really think anybody would have heard of Steve Kerr and John Paxson if they wouldn't have played with Michael Jordan? Hell no, they wouldn't have. Michael Jordan made guys better. He made guys want to play harder, to the point where the games didn't always have to be on Michael's shoulders. I mean, you look at it. John Paxson hit a game-winning 3 in the NBA Finals. Steve Kerr hit a game-winning 3 in the NBA Finals. You know, and they both got front office jobs. Steve Kerr is now a basketball analyst, you know, for TNT. And honestly, do you really think he would have gotten that far in life if it weren't for Michael? Maybe, because Steve Kerr's a pretty intelligent man, but Michael Jordan made him better. He made a lot of guys better. Sure, he had Scottie Pippen, and a lot of people say Michael made Scottie. I don't believe that's true, because even when Michael wasn't playing for the 2 seasons that he did, Scottie Pippen was the leader of the team and lit it up. Sure, they didn't win the titles, you know, without Jordan, but they still made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, you know, and took it to 7 games. So yeah, Michael added a lot extra to the team. But here's the thing. And I'm going to bring up another point that people are probably going to hate me for. Dwayne Wade didn't need LeBron James. LeBron James needed Dwayne Wade. All because D. Wade had already won a title. He had nothing left to, well, I mean, I'm sure he wanted to win more, but after that, winning that first one, he could have probably skated by the rest of his career and been considered one of the best of all time, you know, just winning that one championship. You know, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, they didn't go to Cleveland. Okay, LeBron went to Miami. You know, people also make the argument, well, Michael Jordan played for another team. Well, you know what? Michael Jordan's deal with the Washington Wizards was a totally different, it was a totally different gig. Okay? The Wizards had a lot of promising young talent, you know, that were on that team that couldn't, that, let's be honest, didn't function very well. And Michael Jordan even made certain players on the Wizards better. I mean, the one guy that I take, you know, from that team who eventually went on to win an NBA championship is Richard Hamilton. Richard Hamilton got to play with Michael Jordan. And look at what Rip went on to do. He went on to become a huge part of the Detroit Pistons team that won the NBA championship in 2004. And the third thing I'd like to say about this is LeBron is not even above Kobe. And a lot of people will say what they will about Kobe's character and some of the things he did outside of basketball. But if we're talking from a pure basketball perspective, Kobe can change, you know, the pace of any game, can turn around any game anytime he chooses. You think about a few years back when Kobe dropped, I think it was 82 points on the Toronto Raptors. I think it was 81 or 82, if my memory serves me correctly. If you think about that, he had 81 points and there were still 3 or 4 minutes left in the game. If Kobe wanted to be selfish, he could have easily scored 100 points, but he wasn't. He let the people around him take care of the rest, which I applaud that. I really do. You know, LeBron, like I said, what has LeBron done? Who has LeBron made? What tough players has LeBron played against? Explain that to me. Yeah, Michael Jordan, I mean, come on, guys. He played against an LA Lakers team led by Magic Johnson, a Boston Celtics team, you know, led by Larry Bird, a Detroit Pistons team led by Isaiah and Joe Dumars, a Portland Trailblazers team led by Clyde Drexler, a New York Knicks team led by Patrick Ewing. You know, the list goes on. Even the Phoenix Suns led by Charles Barkley, and the Seattle Supersonics led by Shawn Kemp and Gary Payton. All those guys I just mentioned are tougher, a lot tougher than anybody LeBron has played against. Kevin Durant might be the closest guy in his prime right now that is a tough person for LeBron. Kobe, even at the tail end of his career, is the toughest, one of the toughest for LeBron. But at the end of the day, LeBron in his prime, because he's in his prime right now, let's just face facts that he has not played against the caliber of players that Jordan played with, and even that Kobe played with. I mean, you forget, Kobe played against the likes of Allen Iverson, and, you know, guys of that nature when he first started out. He played against Michael his first couple years in the league. And I think that's why Kobe got tough, is because he had to play against Michael. And honestly, who knows? Maybe if LeBron would have played Jordan, maybe LeBron would have gotten tough. But LeBron, he's not tough. He's a very skilled, very talented player who has played against a lot of mediocre players. Let's just face it, there's really nobody the caliber of LeBron James. I will say that. LeBron is a very talented and skillful player. But it's a different era. It's a weaker era. The athletes aren't as, what's the word I want to use? The athletes don't have the killer instinct like they used to. Like I said, you had guys back then like Magic and Bird, Isaiah and Dumars. All those guys had killer instincts, and they wanted to be the best. And that's what made them so tough when they played Michael Jordan. And say what you will, LeBron James had a lot of good players in Cleveland. He had a lot of good players in Cleveland. I'm not saying they were great players. I'm not saying they were Scottie Pippins, but they were good enough to where he could have won a championship if he wanted to. It was his choice not to push them harder. It was his choice not to try and make them better. Because like I said, Mo Williams, Larry Hughes, Anderson Varejao, all those guys, they're decent players. They're good players. And I believe if LeBron would have pushed them harder, who knows what could have happened. Sometimes you need a fierce leader to push you hard. Michael pushed guys hard. Michael pushed guys like Tony Kukoc and Luke Longley and, Bill Wennington, Horace Grant, Bill Cartwright, Charles Oakley. They were all good players, but Michael pushed them to be better. And the list goes on. B.J. Armstrong, John Paxson, Steve Kerr. Michael pushed them to be better than what they probably would have been if they wouldn't have played with him. So, at the end of the day, LeBron James will always be behind Michael Jordan. There is no comparison. There is no, being better than Michael. There is no being the greatest of all time. And, a lot of people say Michael Jordan might not even be the greatest of all time. Some people even say Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain are the greatest of all time. But in my lifetime, and a lot of other people's lifetimes, Michael Jordan is the greatest to ever play the game of basketball. The greatest. So with that being said, enough of the LeBron versus Michael. Enough of how many MVPs versus, how many titles each person has won. There is no argument. LeBron could win 7 championships, and he still won't be better than Michael because of the caliber of athletes that Michael played with compared to the caliber of athletes that, LeBron is playing with. Big difference. You look at the way the game was played. You look at the toughness of the men that played. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with me, especially the younger generation who love LeBron James to death. But go back and watch some of Michael Jordan's playoff games. Watch them. Just watch them, and you'll realize the difference. Michael had a killer instinct. Michael made people better, and Michael's opponents worked harder to beat him, or to try to beat him. So that's my rant on the Michael James versus... See, now get me all confused. Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. That's how passionate I am about this whole debate. Can't even keep the name straight. But at the end of the day, in my lifetime, and in a lot of other people's lifetimes, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. There is no if, ands, buts, or arguments to be had about it. So that's the last I'm going to say about it. That is my rant on how I feel and why I feel the way I do about LeBron James not being better than Michael Jordan or even coming close. So, with that being said, this is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports, your source for all things sports. And remember, as always, same channel, same person, same opinions, same views. Controversy doesn't come without criticism. And if you don't like it, if you do like it, learn to respect it, because it's the best damn thing going today. Take care, guys. If you get time, watch the NBA draft on Thursday. That'll be very interesting. That's another topic for another day, especially with Cleveland getting the #1 pick. But for now, I'm signing out. Hope you have a good time. 4th of July is coming up. Be safe. Don't blow each other up. And God bless and have a good night.